It's 11:10 in this very dusty Wednesday night, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to do for the evening before I go to sleep because I am absolutely exhausted right now. I mean, I've been working ever since 8 in the morning today, almost nonstop, and, I don't want to say that I want to get this done with, but, I want to make sure I do this video before I go to sleep since I promised you guys yesterday that I will do the Moving Forward series for FC Dallas tomorrow. And today is the day. So for FC Dallas, of course, they finished the regular season 16 wins, 9 draws, and 9 losses. And by the way, all these teams that I'm going to be doing for the Moving Forward series from now on are teams that are currently in the playoffs. I already done for all those teams that did not make the playoffs in the Moving Forward series, and the format is gonna be slightly a little bit different. Instead of saying what went wrong and what went right, I put what went right and what needs to improve as the format for these teams that are eliminated from the playoffs and for teams that won MLS Cup this season. And going back to what I just said, they have 57 points this season. Their record is 16 wins, 9 losses, and 9 draws. They scored 52 goals this season, which is definitely higher than I thought they would. When you look at this Dallas team throughout the season, and especially what happened in the last month when they scored, a whopping 4 goals for the last month, you would think their goal tally would be lower than 52, but they scored 52 goals in the regular season, and they only conceded 44, which I believe that's the 5th least goals conceded by any team in MLS. And we know Dallas has a very good defense. They've been showing that throughout the season. And their goal differential is +8. And they finished the season in 4th place. And they got eliminated in the knockout round by the Portland Timbers. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're also the only team right now in the playoffs where there is a man got sent off. Oh God, I forgot who exactly got sent off in that game between Dallas and Portland. Obviously, my brain cannot think right now after doing so much work for the last couple of hours, but I believe they're the only team that had a man sent off in the playoffs. I don't recall any other games in the playoff where we had a red card incident. And again, that actually could be wrong. And if that is wrong, just let me know in the comments below. But they got eliminated in the knockout round by the Timbers. They lost 2-1 at home. And in terms of the top goal scored, Maxi Urruti with 8 goals. Roland Lamar with 8 goals. Michael Barrios with 6 goals. Santiago Mosquera with 6. And Rito Ziegler with 4. And straight away, you can tell what I'm going to say when we get to the what needs to improve, because it's clear that when you look at the top goal scorer for this team, Maxi Urruti, and he only have 8 goals this season, I think this is the only team, the only playoff team out there that their top goal scorer does not have double-digit goals. In terms of the top assist leader, Maxi Urruti with 11 assists. Mauro Diaz, who is no longer with this team. Remember, he got transfer out back in the summer transfer window, have 8 assists. Roland Amal with 6 assists. Michael Barrios with 6 assists. And Santiago Mosquera with 5 assists. And going back to the Mauro Diaz 8 assists, if he would have stayed at Dallas, you could think that he could be one of the top guys in terms of assists and maybe even reach 18 assists, which is a number that is the highest assist number that is shared by both Deutschkau and Acosta in terms of the assist leader. And maybe he could have reached that before if he would have just stayed for FC Dallas for the full season. But what went right for Dallas? So it is a pretty good bounce back after what happened last year. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're an FC Dallas fan, you're probably tired of hearing about what happened last season and tired of the fact that, you will always remember as a team that just completely choked away their playoff spot after being in the top top spot of the playoffs for the majority part of the season. But I guess that's what you get when you did that choke job. I mean, that was just the biggest choke job that I think we have ever seen in MLS, and that is something that it's going to be talked about a lot. But coming into this season, I did say in the preseason I was kind of concerned with this Dallas team, mainly because I don't know how physically and mentally they're going to recover after what happened last season, and it turns out they actually did a pretty good job of it. I mean, in the beginning part of the season, they kind of still had that lingering effort, but once they started to get going, it looked like this was the old FC Dallas team. And one thing that FC Dallas, and one of the strategies that kind of make them really good, is that they kind of kept quiet in terms of saying that they were actually good. Like, they did not really say that the media was kind of like underrating them and really just not getting a lot of respect. They kind of fly under the radar for majority of the season. I think maybe that is a good thing, because then there's not going to be that pressure from the media and also from people that knowing that this team looked like they're going to recover from last season, only to basically repeat what they just did last season and go in a nosedive. And then, of course, the other thing that went right is the defense. Like I said, 5th best in MLS. This is a very good defense that FC Dallas has. And the other thing that went right for Dallas this season is that someone always find a way to step up and score a crucial goal. And this is kind of a phrase that I've been used a lot during the first half of the season and also part of the second half of the season, because it just feels like whenever Dallas play and all the victories that Dallas have win, it's always just somebody that you don't expect them to score goals. Like at times you might have Michael Barrios scoring a hat trick to of course get a victory for FC Dallas, or you can have Tesha Akindele scoring a brace to get a victory out of nowhere. I mean, it just feels like someone was always going to step up and score that crucial goal. However, this is where we get to what needs to improve, and this is where I am going to talk about this, which is the collapse that they kind of had late in the season, and how, the phrase, someone will always find a way to step up and score a crucial goal. Yeah, that did not happen in the second part of the second half of the season and late in the season. And when this method start to not work for them, then it shown that Dallas really just they don't know what to do going forward. And it shows why in the last month they only scored 3 goals if you don't count the goal that they scored in the playoffs. Like, nobody on this team could score. And it also brings me to the other point about the fact that they need a goal scorer. And again, like I mentioned before, in terms of the top goal scorer, they have nobody on this team that have scored double-digit goal. Max Ciaruti and Roland Lamar both tie at 8 goals. Ruti has been sort of inconsistent in terms of his goal-scoring form. Lamar was actually pretty decent for the first half of the season, but he really took a nosedive. And I think his last goal this season was in August, so he didn't score in the last 2 months, and it was getting to a point that he was even getting benched because of the poor performance that he was having. So, when someone cannot find a way to step up and score a crucial goal, that's the Dallas that we saw in the last part of the season. And that's why, that was kind of like a collapse for them. Like, throughout the season, they were in first place for majority of the season, and all of a sudden, 3 straight losses. They're not only not first anymore in the standings, but they drop all the way down to 4th, and they drop all the way down to a position where they have to play a knockout round game. And it's hard to believe that coming into decision day, I almost kind of dismissed, like, how many times heading into the last week of the year, how many times did I dismiss that FC Dallas, there was no way that they're going to drop below second place and not going to get a first round bye is just, it's kind of weird that I didn't mention it. It's mind-boggling of how they did not find a way to finish in the top two when they were there for majority part of this season. And then of course the other thing that they need to improve is that they need more creativity in terms of them going forward. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Mauro Diaz is no longer with this team, and I just feel like they didn't find an answer or a replacement for Diaz. And I kind of question of why exactly they decided to let him go. I mean, I know Diaz was kind of really want to go to the Middle East, and he's kind of one of those guys that are kind of money hungry, and when you usually see that kind of teammate, you probably maybe should let him go. But Mauro Diaz was a huge contribution for this team in terms of going forward, and once they decide to let him go, Dallas just does not have a replacement for him, and there was just nobody that could step up to the role that Mauro Diaz has played, and because of that, that's when they really struggle in terms of that creativity going forward. And they got to find a way to replace him heading into the off season, which also transition us to the moving forward series. I like how some of the points that I'm making are perfectly transitioning into the next part that I'm talking about in the moving forward series. And that of course is that they got to have a replacement for Mauro Diaz. Like, all those assists and all those kind of beautiful ball that he puts into some of the attackers for this team were clearly missed in the second half of the season. And as long as if they don't find a replacement for Mauro Diaz, this team is going to continue to struggle. And the other thing about FC Dallas is that, can their academy continue to produce great young talent? And I think a lot of people forgot this year that Dallas still has the best academy in MLS. Well, I think maybe now you could say it's second best because, the Red Bulls, what they've been doing with their academy and bringing guys into that team and just playing very well in that team. But still, Dallas has one of the best academy in the league, and you wonder, are they going to once again go into the academy, look at the academy and bring in guys that are worthy of playing this team? And the other thing that I'm also excited about this team going forward is that they're going to finally put a USL team. And although this is a USL team that's not going to be playing in the championship or the second tier of US soccer, but they're going to be playing in League One, which is the third tier of US soccer. And I think this is something that a lot of people think Dallas should have got a couple of years ago, because with all these young talent that FC Dallas has in their academy, they have no place to put them. Like, they can't really just loan them out to somebody else and then hope that they can get them back. I mean, MLS is not the Premier League, okay? You can't just loan somebody to another team that is in the lower tier, or loan somebody from a USL squad and expect them to potentially get them back. That usually does not happen a lot in MLS. And I think the only way for a team that has a good academy to develop those players is that they need to put those players in those USL team. Like, for example, for the Red Bulls, they have Red Bull 2, and all those guys that we saw this season that was coming off the academy was from Red Bull 2. And when you look at another team with great academy, Sporting KC, all those guys that play for Sporting KC that is from the academy was playing with Swope Park Rangers. And I think for FC Dallas, it's clear that, with all this talented academy player that they have, and top tier kind of academy pool that they have with their disposal, they need to give these guys some minutes in just the professional field and just get some experience in terms of playing professionally. And I think with them launching this new USL team will really help in terms of them continue to bring guys from the academy and turn them into an absolute stud. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button. If you're an FC Dallas fan, make sure you guys leave me in the comments below about what do you think of this, what do you think went right for the team, what do you think needs to improve, and most importantly, moving forward, what do you think your team is going to be heading into next season. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.